Thing we're going to do is log into our ActiveCampaign account. Once you get to that dashboard, you are going to come down here to the bottom left to your settings tab, click on that. Once it loads, you'll see a sub menu on the left hand side here. We're going to come up to tracking and click on that. Now under this tab you're going to see site tracking with a little button here. We're going to want to enable that. And then hop on down here to your whitelisted URLs. These are your websites or your properties that you want site tracking on. So for example, we would type in here example.io and add that to the list. Now you can add individual pages, or you can keep this box checked and it will add any subdomain associated with example.io. Now last thing we're going to do for this step is hop down here to the tracking code. Now if you click this box, you can copy and paste this, Command C on a Mac, and once that's copied, we're going to hop over to your web builder. In this example, I'm going to use ClickFunnels. So I already have that open. As you can see, I am in one of my funnels that I'm currently building. I am going to hop down here to the head tracking code. Now in any builder, you can add this to the head or the footer code. In this case, head is simplest, so we're going to Command V or paste that into the tracking code box here and update that so that it saves. And that is it, folks. You have turned on site tracking and installed your code on your website. And now that we have site tracking set up, we are going to hop back over to our ActiveCampaign. And before diving into this automation, we need to do a little bit of legwork. So we are going to go over here to lists on the left hand side. We're going to open that menu and we are going to manage fields. Now I have a completely separate video on tagging and lists and custom fields, but just a quick overview. A custom field is something that you want to store, a piece of information that you want to store for a customer or for a contact that is very specific to that customer. So for example, if you want to know how many times a customer has clicked on a link in an email, you could set up a custom field for that. If you want to know that contact's birthday or their anniversary date for the date that they subscribed to your company, those are things you would put in a custom field. So in this automation, I know that we're going to need a couple custom fields, so just to save the headache, we're going to go ahead and add those in here now. So we're going to go to top right here to add a field. And you can name these fields anything you'd like. For this case, we are going to use abandoned cart count. Now, in this field, I want to know exactly how many times they have abandoned their cart and therefore been through the abandoned cart automation. We are going to leave this as a text input because none of the other options seem to work for that. We don't need a list or a date. This is just a number. So we're going to leave that there and hit add. Now we need to add one more, and this one we are going to add abandoned cart date. So this is going to be the last date that a particular contact had abandoned their cart. So in this field type here, we actually need to put date. Now we could use date and time. I believe that's going a little more too specific. For this case, we're just going to roll with date and add that. And lastly, we are going to add a couple tags. Tags would typically be set up prior to the automation, but I want to make sure that we have these tags in here since we're going to be teaching you how to do an automation with tags involved. So we are going to go over to this left hand side here to contacts. So from contacts, we actually went into this manage tags field. I skipped ahead a little bit on the video to make sure that I wasn't exposing anyone's information. So for now, looks like we already have the tags in here, and the two tags that we were looking for are actually already added in here. you can see how I name my tags. Again, brief overview here. I like to categorize my tags with something in the front, but for test purposes, we're just going to do this here. We have action. And this would be a manual tag. When I say manual, I mean a tag that we are adding on the ActiveCampaign side within one of our automations or manually. In this case, that tag is going to be action purchased. And then the second tag is going to be a tag that is passed through from a cart software. So for example, I believe in this example we're going to use ThriveCart. So if you have ThriveCart, you have the option when a customer checks out or purchases to set up a pass-through tag. So it's an integration, and you're actually going to tag that person within ThriveCart, and that's going to send the information over to ActiveCampaign. That will be this tag here. So I've got action, your cart platform, ThriveCart, whatever it may be, and purchased. So that's how the tags work. You can add a tag over here to the left hand side. You can see in this box here, to add a tag you just add spaces or commas to separate them and add as many tags you'd like. I do recommend keeping your tag list fairly clean, but from there let's go ahead and dive into this automation. So we're going to go from the left hand side here over to the automations tab. And top right corner, we are going to create an automation. From here, it is going to ask us to select a recipe or start from scratch. Now, there are a couple cases here where you would want to choose a different scenario. The pre-made recipes do work. I'm not a huge fan of them simply because I don't feel like they do enough to support what an abandoned cart objective is. The entire tactic behind the abandoned cart, I'm sure you could start with those recipes and add on to them. However, in this case, we're going to start from scratch. And I will say that this automation is not going to be set up for someone who has, say, Shopify or WooCommerce. There are some very great integrations with those, and we'll leave those for another video. But for now, we are going to select the trigger, and that trigger is going to be web pages visited. And this is where that URL that we grabbed earlier is going to come in. We want this automation to start whenever someone visits your cart page. So in this example, it's going to be example.io/cart. Now, we also want someone to be able to enter this automation more than once. This is something that if they abandon their cart one time, we want to be able to push them through this automation. Say a month later, they come back and abandon the cart again. We'd like them to go through the automation a second time. So we're going to set that as multiple times. And then we are going to go down here in advanced and segment the context coming into this automation. Segment here just means we are going to exclude anyone that comes into this automation based off of this, visited this website, that doesn't meet this condition down here. We are going to set as has not visited. And if they have not visited your thank you page, which in this example is going to be example.io/cart-thank you. So if they have visited this page, but they have not visited this page, they're still going to come in. And we also want to set an additional condition that states that they are not in this automation. So that's going to be here under actions. Come all the way down here almost to the bottom, is not currently in an automation. And that automation right now, you can see in this top left hand corner, because we haven't had the chance to change it yet, up here is going to be automation 16. So at this point, if someone goes to your cart, they have not visited your thank you page, and they are not currently in this automation, we want them to continue. Now we are going to get a pop-up here asking us to add a new action. We are not going to do that at this point simply because I want to show you one other scenario and a different set of triggers. So for now, I'm going to close out of this. We'll come back to it in a minute. At this point, I want to talk about if, say, you are using software such as ThriveCart, where you can set up an integration that adds a tag whenever you have an abandoned cart. So in this situation, we don't want the same set of triggers to come into this. We're not looking for the site tracking in particular. We're actually looking for, we're going to add a new trigger here and say a tag is added, because with platforms such as ThriveCart, they will actually add a tag whenever you have someone abandon your cart. So for this example, we're going to say this is an action tag, and we are going to use this one I've used before, which is your cart platform. I don't want it to say purchased. We want it to say abandoned. Now, we're also going to allow context to come in here multiple times, just like on the previous one. We are going to segment them, and what's going to be a little different this time, because we want to segment to make sure that someone has never visited the URL for your thank you page. So we're going to add have not visited here. Help if I could spell. And for this one, it's going to be example.io. Wow. Cart. Thank you. So what this means is once they have the tag abandoned cart, they are going to be able to come into this multiple times, but we're also going to check and make sure they have not visited the thank you page. And by doing that, we have effectively the same style trigger as before, yet instead of us having to add a tag down here, in this scenario, your cart software is actually going to add the tag for you and pass that data over to ActiveCampaign. So now we are going to dive into that action step that popped up earlier. So the first thing we want to do is wait. So we're going to go down here to conditions and workflow and come up here to wait. Now we want to wait for a specific period of time. In this case, we're going to say, I find 1 hour works well. This is so that when someone does trigger this automation, they come in, they made it to your cart. If they happen to purchase, say it takes them 5-10 minutes to put in their contact information, credit card, whatever that may be, we don't want them to immediately get tagged and get an email that says, hey, you abandoned your cart. Obviously, they may still be there, so we're going to wait an hour. Very simple wait step. Then we're going to move on to what are the things that need to be done once someone enters this automation. First thing we're going to want to do is add a tag. So this is going to be under your contacts here, and we're going to add a tag. Now this is for the set of triggers on the left where the tag was not added by your cart software. In this case, we're going to add another action tag. This one is not going to be from your cart platform. This one is going to be a manual tag that we add, and the action is going to be abandoned cart. Now, we'll have another video on tag naming conventions and how you need to go about setting that up. It's really personal preference, but there is some standards and some best practices. So follow along and we will get to that in another video. So once that tag is added, we're also going to update those two fields that we added earlier. To do that, we're going to add another action step here. And here we are going to add, actually, let's see if we can find it here. Contacts. Well, there it is. So we're going to go into conditions and workflow, and we are going to perform math on a field, custom field that we put in. So what this means is anytime someone makes it past this hour mark and they haven't purchased the product yet, we are going to update this contact field abandoned cart count. Now, for this math, we are going to literally add one number. So I'm going to add the number 1 anytime someone makes it this far in the automation. What this does is allow you to track for future references how many times someone has abandoned their cart, letting you know, hey, this person is probably pretty interested in your product, but there's something holding them back. Allows you to contact them, reach out later, and see if you can resolve that and possibly make another sale. So at this point, we're going to save that step. And then, now this is something that ActiveCampaign does every once in a while. You can see here, I've got the loading screen, and it will seem to do that forever. I usually give it 30 seconds or so. Once it looks like it's not going anywhere, we're going to come up here to the top left-hand corner and hit refresh. And that is going to bring us back to where we were at with that save. Don't know why it happens. I'm sure it has something to do with servers and being web-based, but there's the fix for it. Now, we are going to also update the second field that we added, which is going to be under contacts, and we're going to update that contact. So in this case, we want to update their last abandoned cart date. So this is we're going to update that with current time. So this allows us to go back and look at a contact at any point and see when the last time they were in the cart and when the last time they abandoned that was. Now, that's all the tagging I believe we need to do at the beginning. So now we're going to dive into the fun part, which is sending the emails. Okay, to add an email step here, we are going to hit the add button, and it's going to be under sending options, and we're going to select an email to send. Now, we're not going to dive into how to write these emails yet. We're just going to work on building the automation out, and we'll cover that in another video. So, first thing we need to do is create an email. Now, we're going to name this email, and this is personal preference. Some people like to use their subject lines here. I like to use timeframes. So, in this case, I'm going to say we're going to send this email out 1 hour after the cart is abandoned. So I'm actually going to put that here, 1 hour after cart abandonment. And I'm going to create that. This is something that I do regularly. Some people like to build the emails out as you go. You can go in here and start building out your email. I get the automation built so that I know my process before writing those emails, unless I have the emails pre-written. So we're going to go ahead and save and exit in this top corner up here. It's going to bring us back out. There's the email that we created, and we are going to save it. So that is basically a placeholder at this point. You can go in here and edit that email at any point. But so that tells us what we're going to do. We're waiting an hour. Right here, we're going to tag them, update their fields, and we're going to send them a reminder that says, hey, you left this in your cart. Is there anything we can do to help you? And we're going to add another wait step here. And this time, I want to wait 24 hours. So this is, again, depending on your customers and your preferences, but I feel like this is a good baseline. 1 hour, 1 day, 1 more week, and then 2 weeks following that is how we're going to set this one up. So we have wait for 1 day. Then we are going to add another email in here. This email, we don't want to use the same email. We are going to create a new one. This one is going to be 1 day after cart abandonment. I'm going to save and exit. And save one more time. Now, from this point, we are going to do something a little different. So with abandoned carts, I like to throw in a text message as well. Now, depending on your budget and your list size, if you want to send text or not, that is completely up to you. You could do another email here as well. But for this example, we're going to say a week later, no text messages get opened. I want to send them a 10% off coupon. I'm going to say hi, and then we're going to put their first name in here. This has to be all capitals. First name, we're going to make this the correct case. So we're going to change it to title case. Little trick here, side note. Then we're going to say, noticed you didn't complete your purchase. If this helps make the decision for you, we are going to give you 10% off your order. Use save 10 at checkout. This is just for example. I do typically set one of these up for every day of the week. I do like to limit the time though. Don't want us texting someone in the middle of the night or early in the morning. And you can see here, just this is a good example. I actually messed up here. The text messages are truncated to 160 characters. So we're going to have to shorten this up or it's going to cut off in the middle. So in this example, we're going to say, if this helps, here's 10% off your order. Okay, now you can see we got 145 characters. So we're doing good there. In this test account, we only have 25 text messages available to send. You can purchase more for fairly cheap here. As you can see, you got different levels that you can purchase. For most people starting out doing what we're doing, the reason you'll be watching this video, it's very reasonable to be able to send these text messages out until you build that customer base up. So we're going to save that. Next, we are going to wait one more week. Save that. And we are going to send a final email here. We missed a wait step here. So we're going to go ahead and slide this wait step up. We're just going to grab it and pull it up. We're going to move the single action. At this point, we have no one in this automation, so I'm not too worried about it. We're just going to move them to new wait step. And we're going to add a wait step here. We'll wait one more week. And we're going to add the last email for this sequence. This one is going to be, so we have waited 1 day, we've waited 1 week, we've waited a second week, so we're going to say 2 weeks after abandonment. Create this email. Again, we will follow through in the next video with the emails themselves. For now, we're going to save and exit. Save one more time. And come back down here. Now the fun part. So the one thing that we have not addressed here is if someone comes into this automation, they abandon their cart, we've waited an hour, we've tagged them and adjusted their contact information to reflect when they abandoned that cart, but say within the next 2 hours they get this email and they purchase the item. you don't want them to continue getting these emails and text messages after they've already purchased. So we need to set up a way, one, so that a contact can exit this automation, and two, a way to track how many people we actually converted off of this automation. So to do this, we're going to add another action here, and we're going to set up under conditions and workflow, we're going to set up a goal. Now, this goal allows contacts to jump to an action. So this goal, we're just going to simply name purchased. Now, we're going to allow them to jump to this action when these conditions are met. So what are the conditions need to be before contact jumps to this position? First off, they are going to get a tag whenever they purchase. So purchase tag exists. So for the first set of triggers, we're going to just have action purchased. This is our custom tag that we added, or if you wanted to go based off of the second set, if you were using something like ThriveCart, you could actually change this to tag exist action your cart platform purchase, which is going to be the tag that is passed from your cart whenever they make the purchase. So the second piece of this is we also want to make sure, due to maybe they used a different email, whatever the case may be, we're going to add a second action that says or. So either they got this tag, or if they possibly used a different email to purchase, we're going to say that they haven't not visited this URL. And that URL is going to be example.io/cart, and thank you. So this is the URL for your thank you page. So what we've done here, we've got a goal set up that says at any point in the automation, if this customer receives the tag purchased, or they have visited, we got this messed up. We say that contact has visited your thank you page, ever, then they're going to jump to this point in the automation. Now, there's a couple other things with a goal you need to set up. So we're going to say in this scenario, below the contact's position. So if this goal is down here, below the contact's position, and the contact is up here, say they're at the first email or the second email, they may be in a wait period. If they make that purchase, they're going to, boom, automatically jump down to this goal, bypassing everything in between. So, and then lastly, if the contact does not meet the goal conditions, what do you want to do? Do you want to end the automation? We can wait till other conditions are met, or we can continue anyways. In this case, we are going to say continues anyways. So they did not purchase, they made it all the way down to the goal. We're going to go ahead and continue because I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus here and show you something that I like to do. Last thing in the first automation, the basic abandoned cart automation here is going to be to remove the tags that we added back up top. So we're going to remove this tag abandoned cart, letting us know that they are not in that automation anymore. So the last thing we're going to do is add or remove that tag that we added up top here for the abandoned cart. So that lets us know that they are not in this automation anymore at a glance when we look at their contact card. So we're going to go here, add an action, we go to contacts, remove tag, tag to be removed, it's going to be action, and then cart. Okay, so we have the remove the tag, and typically at this point you would just exit the automation. But this is where I'm going to give you a bonus tip. So we are going to do a conditions here, a if-else statement, basically splitting this automation, saying if something happens, we want them to go one way. If it doesn't happen, we want them to go the other way. So the first thing we're going to do is say if the contact has not visited URL for your thank you page. So again, that was example.io/cart. Thank you. And we're going to say that the cart, this is where that custom field that we made earlier. So we're going to say contact details or contact custom fields, I apologize, are abandoned cart count is going to be greater than or equal to 5. So what this says is if someone, once they've made it through the automation, whether they made the purchase or not, they got to the goal, we've removed their tag, they're ready to be done with this automation, we're going to add one little trick up our sleeves here. So if they haven't purchased, you could also use the tag doesn't exist purchased, but in this example, I'm just using they haven't visited your thank you page, and they have an abandoned cart count greater than 5, meaning that they have abandoned their cart 5 times. So we're going to add that, and we'll show you what it does. So you can see here, they have a yes path and a no path now. So for the no path, we are just going to say what's in this automation. We're done with that customer right now. They have exited the automation. If they abandon the cart again, they can go back through. But on this yes side, this is where we're going to get into a cool trick. So if contact has abandoned their cart 5 times, I want to know that. As a business owner, I want to see that and know that people who have been to my cart page over and over and haven't purchased, there's got to be a reason. There's some reason that's holding them back. They're obviously interested. So I want to contact those people personally or have one of my sales team contact that person on a more personal level versus on automation. This is where the balance between automation and human touch points comes in. So we want to make that human touch point, build that relationship, and say what's going on. Now, we may be able to make that sale. We may not. We'll never know if we don't reach out. So at this point, we're going to add another action here, and this one's cool. We'll go into integrations later, but this is just a little bonus tip. Okay, we're going to add another action here to drop down to add a row in Google Sheets. Now, you will have to have your Google account connected here and integrated. You can see mine already is. We'll cover that in another video. However, for now, we are going to select this account. We're going to select the spreadsheet. So in this example, we're just going to choose a untitled spreadsheet. On this sheet, we are going to select the sheet itself. Now we're going to map these fields. So what this does is it adds a row in a spreadsheet with, say, email, and we're going to say we want that email in column A. We're going to add another mapping. We're going to add their first name in column B. Last name, I'm going to put that in column C. You can add any information you'd like here that you've collected on the customer. So in this example, we're going to go ahead and add phone number in case we got it. And finish. Now, what this does is gives me or my sales team a specific place where we can go in at any point in time and see a hot lead, meaning someone that has been to your cart repeatedly and hasn't purchased. So we can reach out to them with a more personalized email, maybe even a text message that says, hey, we noticed you've been in your cart. We'd love to talk to you. If you have 5 minutes, give us a shout. And from that point, that gives you just another tool in order to save lost opportunities and hopefully increase your revenue. So we are going to end this automation here on this side. So this is something that if you're looking to track any information, if you want to add a custom field, these are very specific pieces of information. So this is specific to this customer. This customer went to the cart X number of times. This customer's last email they opened was on this date. So that's where this comes in handy. It gives you a very clean way to reach out and look at these. If you get in further into automation, you can even set up a Zapier, Integromat, any of these link connectors, a custom webhook. You can use text messaging platforms. Actually, Conversations is built into ActiveCampaign as an add-on if you want to purchase that. You can do so many things. Once you have this information gathered and you're collecting it, this Google Sheet can do wonders for you. You can set up automatic text messages, automatic emails. You can set up a text message to a certain sales team. You can add them to a list within the CRM on ActiveCampaign. There's so many different options here. This is just a cool little trick. I'm going to put the link for ActiveCampaign down in the bottom. Yes, it is an affiliate link. If you haven't already done your free trial, you can technically. If you've already done a free trial, you can probably get another one if you'd like to start this again, now that you know a little bit about what you're doing. My name is Will Taylor with Trebl Digital. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave us some comments below. Let us know what you want to see next. In the meantime, smash that like and subscribe button. Follow us over on Facebook and Twitter at Trebl Digital. As always, my goal is to help you enjoy your time because life's too short not to.